3 weeks ago at Gerard Mayo's introductory press conference, our own Tommy Curran asked Robert Kraft how involved ownership would be in football operations. Here's what he said.
Well, it'll be the same input that we've had for the last 3 decades. We try to hire the best people we can find and let them do their job and hold them accountable.
But Bert, what are you hearing about ownership's involvement, or at least someone close to ownership?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's direct ownership involvement, but I did do a little digging around on how the Patriots are structured now and how they will be structured, at least through the draft in April. And it is indeed with Elliott Wolf atop the personnel department. Pat Stewart, who came over from Carolina, is overseeing the pro side. Matt Groh, who was on top of the personnel department last year, is overseeing the college side. But the really interesting nugget that I was able to pick up when I was sorting through all of this is who was in the offensive coordinator interviews. There were 4 people in there when they were interviewing the group that they went through and wound up landing on Alex Van Pelt with. And that was Gerard Mayo, the head coach, Matt Groh, last year's personnel boss, Elliott Wolf, this year's personnel boss, and Robyn Glaser, who, of course, has taken a key role in negotiations for the Krafts in the new setup. And so it's at least an interesting and new name added to the mix, and I think confirms what some people thought, which is that she's a little bit more involved than she was before.
So just to clarify, so when you talk about negotiations, you're talking about money-wise in those interviews. Is it typical that there's almost like a third party that's doing that, or is that normally the person who's in charge of personnel?
Well, so I will say that there are more and more teams that are set up this way, where they'll pair a scouting director type as their general manager with somebody who's more of a negotiator. The Rams have that sort of setup with Les Snead and Tony Pastores. The Niners have that sort of setup with Les Snead and Parag Marath. The Lions have that sort of setup with Brad Holmes and Mike Disner. That's what the Panthers are setting up right now with Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis. And so if you are looking at that sort of setup, right, where it would be Elliott Wolf as the GM leading the scouting side, and then sort of a football ops boss being Robyn Glaser, it would match what a few other teams are doing. And if you are set up that way, it wouldn't be unusual that those people would be involved in the interviews.